Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. It's the Raptor SR 4Hawks range extender for the Mavic Air. Here we go. Mavic Air. This is actually the one I dunked in the pool. Still working fine. I've already had it modded by 4Hawks themselves. They do have that option. But anyway, this is it here installed on the controller. And the big antenna's in the box here. We're just going to set it up here on the table, take it out in the same review here, go to the park and test the Mavic Air, see what kind of range and what kind of stability we can get with this new antenna. Let's get started. Okay, so this is how you buy the box. Basically, you get the whole kit here. You can install yourself. I actually chose to have them install it for me. It's an extra cost, but you just send them your controller and they will install it for a fee. I'll go ahead and have the link to that down in the description. This is what you get for the Raptor SR Mavic. And here is the big panel antenna here. You can see how there's two connectors on the back there, and that's the one you're gonna install on your controller. And then you have all the parts in the box. All these parts are already installed since I had them install it here. You can see how you do have to take apart the controller. So if you're not that good at taking things apart very, very carefully, putting things back with very small components, I would not attempt to do this because you could damage your controller. So if you have any doubt but you still want to do this, just send it in and pay the fee and have them do it. These are the connectors that come with it right here. These are going to connect the main antenna, large antenna, to the actual controller. Since they've done the installation, I do have the old antennas here. So if I ever wanted to go back to stock, I can just go ahead and reinstall or have them reinstall the original antennas. That antenna is a very large flat antenna that comes with it. So you have the option, if you want, to buy these other ones from them. This is going to be very bulky. So once you install this, your controller is going to get bulky because this is going to be on here. And you can't fit that in, say, your Mavic Fly More Combo bag anymore, right? So even if you detach it, you still can't fit this in there. So if you get tired of having the bulkiness of this range extender, it's not too bad once that antenna's off, but you still do have a few inches. Go ahead and get these guys, and these are kind of like PCB style flat antennas, and they'll actually just screw right on here. You see how this goes? 4Hawks RAPTor OD, I think that is there. You just put these on the antenna stubs that they pre-installed in this thing, and there you go. You have solid, longer antennas than stock. Again, here are the stock antennas, so you can see how much more antenna array you get with this one. It's wider and it's taller. And you can actually take this whole assembly out. You unscrew these two lock nuts, you can slide this whole thing off, and then you'll just have these two stubs sticking up that I'm screwing these onto. So that'll be way more compact. So if you did want to get, alternate between this antenna and those two, so you didn't need quite the range as this. So that's pretty awesome that they have separate antennas they sell. So anyway, guys, let's just go ahead and go through how this thing goes on, and then we'll take it outside and fly it. So all you're really doing is pushing it on. The antenna itself goes into these little notches there. And then all you do is you kind of just push. These are like spring-loaded little screws. You push them in there and you just screw it finger tight. Screw that one tight too. And that's basically locking the entire panel antenna onto the controller. Pull it out, and it's got these little notches where you can adjust the actual pitch of it. So that's the highest it can go. You see that angle? And then you can pull it out and adjust it straight out, or pull it out and adjust it one notch down. So depending on where you're flying, say you're on top of a cliff, you're flying below you, this might be a good way to do it. Or if you're flying above you, pull it out, put it higher up like that. And then really all there is to it is taking these two connectors they give you. They're like two right angle SMA connectors. Screw one onto the one coming out of the controller, finger tight. Take this thing, wrap it around, and screw it right onto the one going on to the antenna. So you're going to do that to both cables, making sure everything is finger tight. And that's it. That's the finished product with the SR antenna, panel antenna there. And so you're ready to fly at a really super long range. So we're going to go ahead and test this out. And we're going to see if we get kind of that garble chop up. I was able to get pretty far, but I had some pretty bad FPV chop up So we're just going to see what the difference is with this antenna, and then we're also going to try, I'm going to pop it off and we're going to put these guys on, the ODs, and we'll compare. All right, I'll meet you at the park. Okay guys, so here we are at the park here, up on the mountain of Haleakala with the 4Hawks range extender. You can see I have it mounted up here. We have a little bit of a wind from that direction, which is the direction I'm going to go in. So it should be perfect. Basically coming back. I kind of forgot my launch pad today, so I think I'm just going to do a hand launch and see how that goes. I'm not sure I've ever done a video on hand launching this thing. Go ahead and click precise and take off. There we go. Hand launching. We'll just let it go. As soon as it stops, we're going to head out that away. So here we go. Straight ahead. I'm thinking maybe I should go in sport mode. Let's do it. Let's just switch in sport mode, guys. See if we can get a bit better of a distance in sport mode. Okay, there's our gimbal, just kind of going up and down a little bit. So I'm just going to aim the antenna like directly at the drone here. I'll go ahead and have the drone video up as well as the iPad up as well. And at times my hat cam if I'm trying to show you guys something. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So we're only at 19 feet from our launch position. I don't want to get going too high because the mountain does slope away a bit. Maybe we'll lift it up just a little bit because we are going to hit some interference from a few houses there in just a sec. So what's our speed? 30 miles per hour. Right? Coming back, we should be going much faster because we'll have the wind to our back, hopefully. And I'm just making sure, see the compass there? Yeah, we're getting some wind now. I'm just making sure that the drone is directly in front of me in this antenna, pointed straight at it. So what we're looking for, guys, is glitches in the video, because not only do we want to see if this gives us more range, but the main thing we're looking at, because we know this can fly pretty far in low interference areas, the main thing we're looking at is lag and also video breakup, right? So we're already at 73% power because we're going out hardcore in sport. We're almost at a mile now, reaching 5,000 feet, and we are going into some wind. So just want to make sure I'm straight at it. Let's go ahead and tilt the camera down, see if it's smooth. Yep. I'm not feeling any latency at all. There we go. Camera back up. Everything feels perfect. We do have a kind of a storm coming right now. It used to be a hurricane, but it's downgraded to a storm. It should kind of hit tomorrow, Monday. Today's Sunday. And so maybe we're getting a little bit of, weather, a little bit of haze there. It looks like not perfectly clear, but good enough for a range test. So since I'm in sport mode, we're getting out there a lot quicker, right? I usually hate to do these range tests in sport mode because it won't come back if something happens. It will not come back as fast in return to home as you're going out. So I usually like to do it in just like regular GPS mode, but we're just trying to get in sport. 54%. Okay.
Battery level is low.
I'm canceling the return to home. You see that there? So this is a little risky, but I do have the wind to my back, hopefully. So maybe we can definitely go to 2 miles, it looks like, no problem. Video still looks pretty clear. A little bit less resolution, it looks like, possibly. But I'm not seeing any breakup whatsoever. The video, I'll have the iPad up there through the whole time. And it just looks like it's doing fantastic. Okay, so we have hit 2 miles. And I think I might want to come back pretty soon here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to 1,200 feet and then I'll hit return home and we'll come back. Okay. Sorry, 12,000 feet. Okay, there we go. 12,000 feet. Pressing return to home.
Go home.
And it's going to burn a little bit of power. Raising up and turning around, but that's okay because we have the wind to the back and I know we'll be okay. We'll just let it face home and start coming. And I'm just going to push forward. Okay, pushing forward. Okay. Let's see how fast we can start coming home. 32. Let me go ahead and hit home one more time just real quick. You see how that canceled the beeping? That's what we can do with the Mavic. Okay, we're coming home at 41, 42. Look at this. So 3 or 4 miles per hour faster. Looks like that's about what the wind was to our back. And so we're kind of using the wind, right? The wind up there to come back home. It's pushing us along pretty good. We're still at 33% power. And looks like we're pretty close. I mean, that's us right there on the top of that in the center of the screen. Right on the top of that green spot. So we shouldn't have any issue whatsoever. Once we start to run out of power, I'll slowly kind of bring it down, but I think we're going to be just fine. So you can see as the craft turned around, we had no video breakup whatsoever. So a lot of you guys are having issues with the stock antenna. Since this is Wi-Fi, it's not the OcuSync like the Mavic Pro series. A lot of you guys are having like video breakup and issues with interference. There's not really much interference up here. I do have my cell phone hotspot in the truck over there. You can see on my hat cam. It's right on the dash, and it's just so that we can bring in the maps, these maps here, on the iPad. So yeah, we're gonna be fine. Look at this. So we're just approaching a mile away, and 20%, 21% power. So I could have gone further. I think I went down to like 42% around there. You'll have seen that in the video, but you know, pretty darn close. I can already see my white truck over there. Just to the right a little bit. So that's a good way to make sure you're in the right direction, is just click return home and then take over. You know, it looks like it kind of canceled out a return to home because I kind of took over. But there's my white truck. Nice and simple. Whoa, we just dropped to like 15%. That was pretty quick. So I am in sport mode. Oh boy. Maybe I should just slowly start coming down. Make sure we can make it, right? 12%, 11%. Yeah, that battery dropped pretty quick at the end there. So it's going to start to slowly land, I think, once it hits, yeah. So you see what it's doing? It's slowed down to 18 miles per hour, but I can still push forward, and I'm pushing up a little bit on the stick. Just a tad. But I can still fly it home. So you do have reserve power, guys, if you've seen my range tests. There it is, coming in. I'm going to try to hand catch it. Letting off. There we go. And it's still letting me push up and fly. That's cool. Let's go ahead and hand catch here. Easy peasy. Holding down until it turns off. Awesome. So 12,000 feet. Let me go ahead and stop recording on all this stuff, and we will kind of do a little bit of a pros and cons on this 4Hawks Raptor SR Pro and the Mavic Air at 4%. Let's turn this thing off quick. Okay guys, so that was pretty darn cool. With the Mavic Air we went 2.2 miles, 12,000 feet. And if you remember correctly, that was a sport, all in sport mode. And my other range test down at the park by my house, that was actually closer to 3 miles out. And I just went in regular GPS mode. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put on these other antennas that 4Hawks gave me, the Raptor ODs. And we'll go ahead and do another range test with these on. And we will just try it in P mode, in just GPS mode, not sport mode. And let's try to compare. Slide to launch. See if we can do this while holding the drone. There we go. There we go. Launched up. We'll just let it gain a little bit of altitude there. And there we go, straight forward again. The same exact thing we did last time, remember? Same exact. We'll just go up to, I think I was around 40 feet. Just go up a tad. I think I turned a little bit to the left. Just about there. Okay. And we'll just go up to right there, 39 feet. And yeah, as you can see, we're going a little bit slower. I want to make sure my antennas are pointed perfectly in the drone direction. Recording the iPad screen again for you. And also just for some nicer views, the 4K on the drone that I'll have up as well. So as you know, we're going only 18 miles per hour. Okay, 17, 18, wind's still about the same. And we're looking for the same thing. We're looking for breakup. Nothing yet. 1,500 feet. Sorry, nothing yet. Camera all the way up and down. No latency. Everything looks good. And so battery is dropping slower, 88%. But we are not going as far as fast, right? So this will be a great test. These batteries are just about the same age as well, with the same amount of cycles. I think these only have like, I don't know, less than 10 cycles on them. But so we'll be able to soak up the scenery a little more, because this is going to be a little bit of a longer flight. That first flight was quick, wasn't it? Anyway, testing everything out. Gimbal's still good. Still pointed directly at the craft here. Still got my cell phone in the truck on Wi-Fi hotspot, so I can see the map if I need to. Just brings them in real time. Okay. And I think this was about the same height we were at. I'll go up to 40 just to be safe. I think that's what we were at when we were going out last time, right? And just pointing directly at the drone to get the best signal. And we're looking at the iPad screen for any kind of breakup. You know, it doesn't look as high definition as it was when we were closer, of course, but that's still a very good, solid FPV signal. Isn't that cool how you can just hand launch and throw that thing up? It's so tiny and easy. You don't really have to worry about the propellers hitting your face or anything. Okay, I don't think I got a weak signal warning on the other one, but I just got a weak signal on the left pop up on the screen. So, let's see what we get. Alright, a little bit more pixelation, guys. I was noticing, see how it's not very smooth? I'm moving up and down with my gimbal, it's a little bit choppy. So those SR antennas, man, or that SR antenna was amazing, because I am already getting a little bit of breakup here. Not really breakup, just not as high resolution, and the latency is pretty bad now. You can see it on the iPad screen. Trying to see the fluidity of the movement is very, very choppy. Okay. So we're at 6,000 feet and we got 75% power back. Ooh. Okay, we got some black screen there. All right. Yeah, so we are dropping out already of signal on the video. You guys see that? So that SR antenna is much, much better for signal strength. This is still doable, but you want to have as good a signal as possible if you ever have to go this far out. And you know, not just for range tests, but also for doing filming in general. You want to have as strong signal as possible, so you're going behind a building or trees. That SR antenna will be one of the best. I think they also have an XR, right, which is even bigger. So I'm just moving the gimbal up and down as we're doing this, and so you guys can see how choppy it's getting. There is a truck in front of me. Those guys are probably interfering a little bit, but I'm standing in the same exact spot, and I should be going in about the same direction I was in that other test, and we're getting dropouts on the screen. You can see no image transmission signal, and as you can see, I'm holding my antennas perfectly perpendicular to the craft. You can see that on my hat cam. So we are getting the best possible orientation here. 65% power, and we're coming up on 9,000 feet away. So going out in sport, guys, may not be the best way to do things because you're just using up so much power. At least for this craft, it's hogging so much power. You are going fast, but it's just using so much power to keep this thing in the air. So I'm just going to keep going until we absolutely cannot go anymore. I'll bring up the map here and you can see we're still traveling. Oh, nope. Wait, right when I brought up the map, I'm going to cancel return to home. Is it already turned around? Yeah, it's already turned around. So we only made it a little over 9,000 with these antennas up here. And we're dropping in and out. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to kind of let it come home. Because that gives us a really good indication. There's really the least amount of interference from anywhere on this mountain here. And that should be a pretty good proof of test of at least the signal of the antennas. We didn't really get to test my theory to the extent, but I think we went a little over 9,000 feet and we had like 60 or so % left. So it might have been close between sport and P mode, but as you can see, we're going to come back like no problem. So we'll just let it come home. It is still kind of dropping in and out of signal, you know, so I'm not really sure if these antennas are even going to give you a whole lot more than the stock antennas. Let me try to separate them a little bit. There we go. So they might give you a little bit more range than the stock antennas, but not a whole lot, just because you know, it's still that kind of panel PCB stick antenna design. And right when we got to like 8,000 feet, the signal came in really, really strong, right? Still chopping out a little bit. Let's move the gimbal up and down. Still a little choppy, not completely fluid like that SR antenna was. So these kind of antennas are really dependent on your orientation, especially that SR. But these Raptor ODs, I don't know, you know, maybe a little bit better signal, but not much than the stock antennas. So as you can see, the reason why I like to go out and do these range tests in P mode or just regular GPS mode, is because we're coming back home around the same speed as we were going out. Remember, we're going out like 18 miles per hour, coming back fighting a little bit of wind at 17.7. So many people ask me, why didn't you do the range test in sport mode, and it's mainly a safety feature because if you're going out at like 35, 40 miles per hour, depending on the wind direction, and you get out and you're ready to turn around and something happens where you lose signal, or who knows, your controller dies, or just some weird malfunction, you're going to depend on that craft coming home strictly by its return to home speed and failsafe. And if you burned up that much power and going that fast out, going the same direction, coming back the same distance at that slower, like 18 mile per hour, if you do the math, you might just drop out of the sky and not be able to come back, right? So you would really need to be able to put it back into sport and fly straight back like I did the last time. So it's just kind of a precaution, the reason I like to do the P mode range tests, just so if anything happens it can come back, and I know it will have a better chance at making it back home. So hopefully that satisfies a lot of you guys that ask those questions. It is just kind of a safety measure for battery power. Anyway, we are fine. Look, we're at 40%, 39%. We're almost home. We have 3,400 feet left to go. Let's do a straight down shot. We should have no problem with signal now. It looks pretty good. So I do have that 8-stop filter on the front of the camera, but it's still in auto, you know, still in completely auto on the shutter and everything. ISO, EV, all that stuff's auto. I don't mess around much with that because I don't do a whole lot of super photography and stuff. But if you can learn it, there's a lot to be learned with these craft, and you can get some really nice shots if you learn how to, you know, are a pro in camera settings. I really would recommend if you buy a drone specifically for getting your best kind of photography shots and filming, go ahead and invest the time and learn how to use those camera settings. I wish I could teach you more on that, but still kind of learning myself. And as you know, I review so many things, sometimes it's hard to sit down and get time to learn other things. Anyway, just coming right over these happy little trees. Coming on over these happy little trees at Poli Poli Park. And as you can see, that's the road coming up the mountain. Just a beautiful area here. Cloud line is just above my head. Really easy access to clouds. You can see on my hat cam, I'm just looking up the mountain there. And you can see it's right up in that tree line already. A few hundred feet above my head are the clouds. Maybe what we'll do is when I get over, since we have so much power left, well, we only have 28, but these batteries seem to be dropping quite a bit at the bottom of their voltage, don't they? For some reason it just seems to be going faster. Maybe I'll punch through the clouds is what I was trying to say. I'll tilt the camera all the way down here once we get right on top of us. Okay, let it start landing, and then I'm going to stop, return to home, and let's go into sport, and let's do a punch up. Oh, camera just corrected itself. Let's go ahead and do a punch up. Boy, does that make a difference? I forget. Vertical speed 9 miles per hour versus, whoops, I'm accidentally turning the stick. Yeah, almost twice as fast in sport. Let's get our orientation back. Sorry about that.
Maximum flight altitude reached.
Oh, I have the maximum at 400. Okay, I guess we can't get into the clouds today. I guess they're not 400 feet up. We're just kind of getting into the fringe of them. See that right there? So we're kind of in the cloud line. We're just below. Okay, well anyway, enough of that. I'm going to cancel it, and I'm just going to pull down, all the way down. And as you can see with the air, it goes down a little bit slower than it goes up, just to prevent the video from wobbling so much probably. I'm going to try another hand catch, guys. So straight on down, right overhead. See what the camera does. It goes up a little bit so it doesn't mess up the gimbal, I guess, when the drone starts rocking. I think all the DJIs do that. It also kind of is a mechanism to keep the props out of view. So we'll go ahead and hand catch it here and pull down. See how easy that thing is to hand catch. Man, that's why I love these little ones so much. Now these guys, I don't have them, but they do have some lower noise propellers. If that whining sound really irritates you, I haven't done a review on them, but some other guys have. They do make some low noise propellers on these, which cuts it quite a bit. Let's go ahead and talk about these two types of antennas and the range we got, and let's wrap it up. As you can see, the 4Hawks Raptor SR was incredibly way more better as far as just signal strength and range. Signal strength throughout the flight and also range than the Raptor ODs. These, like I was saying, might be an okay upgrade from the originals, or if you do buy this, at least you have the option for a little bit more of a compact situation here. If you're not flying very far and you're just kind of close proximity, you could slap these on, because once you take out or have them take out the stock antennas, there's really no way for you to put them back. So if you're looking for maximum range and the best possible signal strength and video, FPV video while you're flying, get something like this. I don't even know if that large XR is really necessary unless maybe you modify the battery. This is all the stock battery and stuff. This actually does fit if you do have the Mavic Air Fly More combo kit. Check this out. I just have the patch antenna in there, and I can go ahead and let's see if this fits. Yeah, so it will zip up. The SR antenna will zip up. The problem you run into is even when you have this whole thing unscrewed, it's going to be hard to get into the controller bag unless you take this bracket off, and so you're going to have to unscrew these things, slide this off, and try to squeeze it in there. It should barely fit. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that flight and it was fun for you and enjoyable and really, you know, just informative. That's why I do these flights, just so we can learn and see the technology and how it's advancing and how far you can get with something like this. I may do a battery mod. You can do some battery mods on this and you can fly way further, especially with this and the XR. We'll have the links in the description down below for everything I'm using. Really hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next flight. Thanks for watching.